Man, how is a channel devoted to exploitation films gone a full year without looking at a Jesús Franco film? Okay, well that's going to change today, and I'm going to take a look at his first internationally released film, The Awful Dr Orlov. It's part homage to those classic Universal films, and it's part ripoff of the French film Eyes Without a Face, and unfortunately it's also part boring-ass police procedural. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob. The Awful Dr Orlov is considered by some to be the very first Spanish horror film ever made. Actually, I don't really know if that's true. I read it in the trivia section on IMDb and on Wikipedia, so maybe it is true. So that's pretty cool. Jesús Franco made a historically significant film. Not bad for the European Ed Wood. Our story here revolves around Dr. Orloff. Surprise! Anyway, his daughter was burned in a fire, and her skin has been all scarred up, and he's trying to restore her former beauty. And, as we all know, the best way to restore her former beauty is to replace that scarred up skin with new, beautiful skin sourced from beautiful, flayed women. Yep, that makes sense. He is the awful Dr. Orloff, after all. Dr. Orloff is assisted by an Igor-type character called Morpho. He's a blind, mute psychopath with a penchant for biting people. They never say in the movie, but it looks like Dr. Orloff has done some experimenting on Morpho. Maybe he was practice. And maybe this was the price Morpho paid for allowing Dr. Orloff to help him escape from prison. They never make this explicit, it's just me connecting some dots. But what is explicit in this movie is this naked flaying scene. Yeah, nice. Okay, well, it's not super explicit. This is 1962, remember? And for 1962, not bad. Filling out the cast of characters is a police inspector and his girlfriend, Melissa, played by the gorgeous Diane Loris. She spends part of the time in this interesting dress. I'm a big fan of the necklace thing suspended across her nipples. Let's call it a nipless.
How do I look?
Dr. Orloff's experiments aren't going well, you see, because all of the skin grafts that he tries on his daughter eventually fail. The skin dies. And he comes up with the idea that maybe that skin is dying because the donors are dying in the process. So that makes no sense, but that's okay. I guess it just tells us Dr. Orloff's doctorate was not in medicine. One day, Dr. Orloff meets the aforementioned Melissa and becomes obsessed because she looks exactly like his daughter used to. He does not become obsessed because she's drop-dead gorgeous and wears dresses with nippleses. We all get there in different ways, I guess. Melissa's boyfriend is the police inspector, and he's hot on Dr. Orloff's trail. Will he catch up to him before Dr. Orloff catches up to Melissa? But that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. This film is gorgeous. It really does look like those classic Universal monster pictures sometimes. The castle looks cool, the rain scenes are cool, the empty city streets, beautiful. Love it. And aside from the beautiful locations, there's some beautiful people in this movie, which you've seen already. And some of those beautiful people wear dresses that look like they were painted on. Pretty nice. What's that old phrase? I hate when you go, but I like watching you leave? Something like that. And on a few occasions, those beautiful painted dresses are not there, which is even better. Sure, it's all pretty tame by today's standards, and it's very far away from anything approaching this exploitation film, but still, for this sort of like a Universal monster film style movie, it's a nice addition. A very nice addition. And finally, there's some creepy, tense moments here. Dr. Orloff is a great villain, and his assistant, the Igor character Morpho, is a great villain's assistant. Pretty cool. And if the movie were just them and their victims, it would be a great movie. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Like a blind Igor character thinking about the times he could see nippleses, it has some shortcomings. Way too much of this movie's runtime is devoted to this police procedural. It is super boring. The police interview people, they do sketches, they look at papers, it all sucks. Totally ruins the pacing of the film. and is overall just a boring waste of time. I mean, their investigation doesn't really do a whole lot. I mean, Melissa ends up pretty much solving the case for them. So why are they even in this movie? They shouldn't be. And, you know, it might be forgivable if the actors playing the detectives had some charisma, but they don't. Alright, well, that's a little bit too harsh. There is one scene where they interview this drunk that's pretty funny.
That's right. You have a job? No, I'm on my vacation. I spend my time fishing.
You mean drinking, don't you?
Yeah, I drink to forget.
To forget what?
People and things.
But that's not enough to make up for all the other boring scenes. And beyond the police procedural stuff that I don't like, there's some odd, which is just my nice way of saying terrible, music choices. Okay, but whatever. Overall, Dr. Orloff is a flawed film, but still one worth checking out. When it's good, it's really good. And as Spain's very first horror film ever made, there's some historical significance here. And the fact that this historically significant film was made by Jesús Franco is just way too cool. Got a favorite gothic horror film? Let me know in the comments. Especially if it's one that has nippleses.